Oh, hey Panasonic, how you doing? You hungry? There's not a lot of crumbs going around, is there? Sony took your sandwich, Canon stepped on it. I'll get you some soup. So today we discuss the Panasonic GH6 potential. What does it have in store for us? And what could it possibly even do to compete in today's world?
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
Before we get started, do you notice something very strange? We're in 4K 60p, just as a heck of a what the hell are we doing test. See if it overheats. I'll let you know how long. I've never had this camera overheat, but I've never filmed in 4K 60p, and this is what its designed purpose was. Sit down videos in your mom's living room. So Panasonic, I do not envy them right now. In today's world, the Sony A7S III, full frame, with the digital IBIS now probably smooth enough. Panasonic's only known glory fame to claim is IBIS. This is heavier than the A7S III full frame. Probably less smooth, IBIS-wise. Doubt it. Maybe for wide lenses though, with the digital stab. It's possible. I can't use anything below a 12mm on this thing. I throw it in the trash. God forbid you were a loser photographer trying to capture images with a Micro Four loser sensor. That would be bullshit. Switching. Lens cap off. Photography 101. Stacy. Okay, grab that grasshopper on the floor next to you. Okay, hold it up like you're gonna save it. But know that human beings are above insects, but you're still doing the right thing. And exude compassion. Oh, he's biting you. There's motion blur in the shot. I was at 1/30th because we're indoors. I had no backup plan. It's unusable. I guess I'll just drink milk. So Panasonic, you have some stiff competition now. The Sony A7S III is full frame and beats you in every way because you refuse to autofocus on anything but a kitten and its babies. The Canon R5 and R6 full frame, same IBIS, just as smooth, better features, way better autofocus. Sure, you can only film in the Arctic Circle when you're searching for our flat Earth dome, the edge of it. You jump over the ice wall to get to it, and then you can film for 8 minutes. But I'm kind of struggling to see where Panasonic fits now with their Micro Four Thirds lineup. I mean, Micro Four Thirds, not only is it bad in low light, but it just doesn't have the dynamic range. That's what's so pleasing. We're just APS-C here, but it's pleasing. I notice it outside. I notice it in here. When I film on my Olympus with this tiny little lens, a little 42.5, 1.7, it looks glorious, but then that window is clipping. It doesn't look right. The highlight roll-off dignity. It's bullshit. Their main claim to fame is IBIS, which the competition is kind of catching up to now. They had the 10-bit, Canon, Sony, they both do it in full frame now. I find it weird that there's no rumblings at all about the GH6. Maybe they're focusing entirely on their full frame lineup now, but what are y'all doing? In my opinion, the only way Panasonic can compete in the future with these new full frame cameras, they need beyond phase detect autofocus. It's not even gonna work anymore because their first implementation of it is gonna fail. So they need the time of flight sensor, something that surpasses phase detect, like it's so magically smooth and fast that we're like, we were using phase detect like caveman shit. Club your wife and drag her home first. It's an immediate video demonetization. That was, what are we at? 9 minutes, still not overheating by the way. Wow. 20-minute limit on this. I better hurry that up. So you have to, ow. Oh, my sharp pyramid. Oh, it stabbed me. Oh, that's twice. So Panasonic has to wake up and finally give us autofocus, and I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I film with this, it performs better than the Fuji. It doesn't lose me, like it's usable, it's serviceable. But when it does hunt, it's distracting. It's always a pulse, a weird like, oh, what was that? It's just, and it won't track you well if you're walking, you want to work out in a park. It's like, forget that life. If you want to just sit here, it works pretty good. But I noticed the GH5S, it'll hunt, even just sitting here. There's a lot of pulsing in that background. G9's better. Your photo camera's better in autofocus for video. Priorities? Much? Not yours. Oh, we got the warning. Oh, I see an exclamation point. Oh no, we're only 13 minutes in. Is it hot to the touch? It's warm. Toasted warm. Also, your GH5S without the IBIS, like, you segmented in all the wrong ways. Best autofocus in your photo camera, best stabilization in your hybrid, and then your best video camera can't stabilize a kitten. Why so many kittens today? So stop the segmenting. Do a video camera, a photo camera, and a hybrid camera. You're already doing that. So just continue on with what you're doing. And the GH6, I don't even care about. So it's the GH6s that we're talking about now. This thing has to be lighter than a full frame camera. The GH5 is what, like 738 grams? And the A7S III is 650-ish? 14 without a battery. You're heavier. You have to be lighter with better autofocus, and now I think we need 12-bit, maybe even 14, because Sony already has 10-bit. What's your advantage? They do 4K 120p. I don't even want that. I don't even want these higher resolutions. Just give me really good 4K 24p, and then super 1080p 480 frames per second. If you could do that, you'd have a lover on your hands who would massage you with coconut oil and milk. I just wonder where the advantage is, because the G9, this thing weighs over a kilogram. This setup right here, just a bit less. It's like 100, maybe 200 grams less than this. Just as good looking image. It's a manual focus lens, but 12mm Tone 2, 12mm Tone 1.4, heavier. Don't get me wrong, the stabilization's a lot better in this, but I prefer the dynamic range and the colors out of the Fuji, so I bring it. We shake a little bit out there. We get used to it. In my opinion, they don't need 6K or 8K. I hope they bring back a low megapixel sensor just like the GH5S, but with IBIS, 12-bit, 444. It's all about colors and dynamic range. All right, the Fuji is dead. That took, I'll put the exact time here, but it was like 16 minutes. Oh, it's so hot. I don't know if it can even continue, probably not. And I just realized the Panasonic GH5S can't do 4K 60p in 10-bit. The Fuji can do it. You're already behind the wheel. So we're in 8 loser bits here. Oh, bullshit. This probably won't overheat, but it's 15 pounds. Sure, it's on a tripod right now, but ask the table how that is. I'm afraid what these file sizes are gonna look like, so let's wrap it up here. I think really all they have to do, shrink the body down a little bit. 4K 12-bit 444. Don't focus on the 6K. Time of flight autofocus, or at least, very least phase detection, perfected. Large pixels, dynamic range increased. All the features in there, Vlog, the real one, not the L1, loser one in here. It says loser at the end. That's a Vlog loser, that's bullshit. And maybe revamp your color science. But if you try to follow Canon's lead with, oh, we have 8K now and it's still contrast detect autofocus, like what the hell are you even doing? Sell your company to squirrels. I still love Panasonic. Like, this is my go-to camera for when I'm sitting on that couch reading books and I want to make a little clip in low light. Like, I will compare them. This same exact setup, because they're very close focal length and aperture wise. I'll see who's actually better in the low light. We'll do that. But I doubt the Panasonic wins. It could. We're at Tone 0.95 here. There's no way I'm in focus, but that's fine. Soft love. After using the Fuji so long for vlogs, the Panasonic G9, when I just tried it for one vlog, thinking that it would probably lose me, it actually outperformed the Fuji hard. So it's not like they suck, but it's just, people aren't gonna buy it knowing, oh my God, knowing there's full frame cameras now with 10-bit, way better autofocus, and the IBIS is good enough. They're gonna lean that direction. So you gotta come up with something big. Just really phase detect and ignore everything I've said so far. A nice 10-bit and the 480 frames per second mode. I demand that. Even though I can make 240 into 600 now with that DaVinci trick. I love it. Maybe I'll make a video on it. It's not my technique. I stole it. That's fine. I'm gonna leave. What do you think Panasonic needs to compete in today's world? Do they have enough? Should they focus on full frame or micro loser? You let me know after buying a Camera Conspiracies t-shirt. Subscribe for more videos and I'll see you later.